Welcome back, folks. Today is video 2 of deck discussion for the game Runes of Id. Today's deck is a blue and gold bronze. It's Intellects and Marvels. I have named Intellectual Marvels. In this deck, I run the max 9 ancient runes in the rune deck, and I will break those down for you here. 3 copies of Ancient Rune of Renewal. Action cost of 2. Flip this rune face down, restore target event with cost 1 or less. Next is Ancient Rune of Eternity. Action cost of 3. Flip this rune face down, restore a Marvel event with cost 2 or less. And then Ancient Rune of Restoration. Action cost of 3. Flip this rune face down, drop an event to draw 2. So in my runes, I got a lot of manipulating of events going on. And we'll start with the Marvel side of my build. Max 3 copies, The Way of the Marvels. Revive target Marvel unit with cost 3 or less. Three copies of Fast Unrelenting. He has Might, and his continuous ability is this unit doesn't exhaust to attack. And Might, let's see if I have that on my cheat sheet here. A unit with Might gets a 1000 power token when it destroys a unit for the first time. So if I destroy one of my opponent's units for the first time in the turn, this will get a plus 1000 counter put on them. 2 copies of Jed Marvel Caretaker. He has critical. Critical states that units with critical will break 2 runes instead of 1 if they damage a player. Optional abilities here is when you play them, target unit you control with cost 3 or less gains 1000 power until end of turn. Then that unit fights another target unit. So right there, I would put it on my Might units to get them even bigger each turn. When this is removed, put the top rune of your stockpile into play exhausted. 3 copies of Clash of the Titans. Put a 1000 power counter on target unit you control, then that unit fights another target unit. So these guys just want to fight. 3 copies of Call of the Marvels. Rummage 5 for a Marvel unit would cost 2 or less and play it. Three copies of Rhea Potentially Unlocked. She has critical. Her continuous ability is whenever a unit with higher power than this unit enters play under your control, put a 1000 power counter on this unit. So when I rummage for a unit, I'd probably pick her quite a few times, just for that little added bonus. And 3 copies of Mito the Giver. Continuous ability, you may exhaust this unit as if it were a Marvel rune. This unit can't be the target by your opponents while it's ready. So if it's never tapped or exhausted, it cannot be targeted by your opponent. So that's pretty nifty. And now the intellect side. 3 copies, The Way of the Intellects. Counter target event or unit being played. 3 copies of Rain Strategic Raider. Mastery. Mastery lets you tap a unit once you play your first event each turn. So if I have her have her out and I play, let's say this guy, the way of the units. If this is the first one I played while she's on the field, I get to tap one of my opponent's units in response. Continuous ability, whenever you play an event, target player mills 3. If she is removed, target player mills 3. So that's pretty neat. Three copies of Philip, Valiant Researcher. When you play, you research 1. Research is you look at the top whatever number of cards. For this one, it's research 1. So you look at the top card of your deck. If you want it, you keep it there. If you don't, just put it at the bottom of your deck. That's all research is. You look for X number. You look at X number of cards, and then you either keep them or get rid of them for later in the game. 3 copies of Dig Through the Archives. Search your archive for a quick card. Doesn't say it has to be an event or a unit, so just a card with these lightning bolts. Would cost 4 or less and reveal it. Your opponent chooses 1. Put the revealed card into its owner's hand, or you can put the revealed card in the discard pile and they will mill X, where X is the card's cost. So you could take a gamble and do 4 and see if they make you discard it, because if it's too powerful, then they lose 4 cards. So that's a gamble on that one. You either get to keep the card or they get the mill cards. 2 copies of Dean, Stroke of Genius. He has critical, and when played, you may drop one to restore an event would cost 2 or less at the start of the turn's instep, ready 2 runes. So that's pretty cool. You can drop a card to restore an event you want to use again. 3 copies of Calculation. You get to research 1, then draw 1. It's like I'm playing Control and Magic at this point. Pretty neat. And then last but not least, 3 copies of Last Ditch Effort. Exhaust 2 target units. It is a very costly card to do something so simple. But those 4 runes and exhausting those 2 target units might be the only chance you have to win your game. So at that cost, it's probably worth it. And that is my Intellectual Marvels build. Have a good day.